In this video, Cresco International will demonstrate how to analyze social media topics and trends. Let's review Mary Kay as an example. We created a social media project called Mary Kay. In the topic section, we enter Mary Kay as the topic. In the themes page, we can decide how to break down the topic into attributes. In this case, we break the topic into 4 themes: makeup, skincare, body and sun, and men's. Analytics for social media allows you to specify the time interval you want to focus on. Here, we focus on the past 3 months to get the latest trend analysis. Selecting all 4 languages provided and choosing all 3 sources, we can now start to create the analysis. The results come from 7 parts: topics, themes, sentiment, geography, source, active authors, and demographics. In the topics section, we can clearly see the social media trends of each day. In the past 3 months, 19,059 mentions for Mary Kay has been detected in 18,867 documents. We can zoom in on the chart to focus on a shorter time period. Next, we move to the theme section. Most of the Twitter mentions are not related to the themes we have chosen. Only 598 mentions are in makeup. 380 mentions are in body and sun, 207 mentions are in men, and 137 mentions are in skincare. People are most likely to directly comment on makeup. In the sentiment results, we notice that most of these mentions are neutral, but we can also see that positive and ambivalent mentions are much higher than negative mentions. In addition to the sentiment test, we can focus on geography characteristics of those Twitter mentions. We can see that the most mentions come from the United States. Drilling down to the lower geography level, we can see the detailed Twitter mentions of each state. Most of the mentions come from New York. Next, we go to the detailed city level, where we can see what cities these brands are being discussed the most on Twitter. In the sources section, we can see the source of all mentions. Most of the mentions are generated from Twitter. This section also provides the ability to track the source of all of the mentions. In the author section, the top 20 authors who generate the most content will be shown here in the tree map, according to the volume of the content. The deeper the color indicates there are more followers of this author. We can also see that 8,611 mentions were generated by this author. Some people choose to reveal their gender, marital status, and parental status on social media sites. In the demographics section, we can see that the percentage of mentions by demographics. For those who do not show their demographics on social sites, they will be indicated as blank. While we generated those visualized reports, a dataset to support our findings has also been created. We can perform filters on this dataset, and the above chart will continue to change in dynamics. This dataset can be downloaded for further data mining activities or also loaded into other analytics tools. We will demonstrate this later. Now, let's focus more on the product category, which we previously have specified in the themes section. Now we can create a new project called Mary Kay 2. In the topics panel, we enter those product categories. Drilling through the topic makeup, we set the terms as the level 1 keywords. Then in the context terms, we enter makeup as level 2 keywords, which will search all mentions that contain Mary Kay first, and then the theme makeup. In the right panel, suggested keywords that are related to makeup will be shown here. We can also refresh this to get the latest suggestions. We can also make these similar changes to the other themes. In the themes section, we will break the topic into 2 categories: price and quality. Setting the time period to the same, past 3 months, choosing 4 languages and selecting 3 sources will now create the analysis. In the topics section, we can clearly see the trends for each category of Mary Kay and which one has more mentions. In the themes section, we see that people are more likely to create direct mentions regarding makeup. Next, we will move to the sentimental section. We can see all 4 categories have very low negative mentions, and makeup has the highest positive and negative rates, followed by skincare. After looking into details about Mary Kay, we now make some comparisons between Mary Kay and its competitors. We created a new project called Mary Kay 3. In the topics section, we enter Mary Kay and its competitors, Clinique and Lancome. Using the product categories as themes and keeping the other settings the same, we start to create the analysis. we can see that Clinique has the highest number of mentions, followed by Mary Kay and Lancome. We can also see that there is a huge increase of mentions on Clinique after January 14th, while mentions on Mary Kay is relatively stable. In the themes section, we can see how people are likely to direct mentions on each category. Moving to the sentimental section, we can see that both Clinique and Lancome have higher positive and ambivalent mentions, and most of the mentions are neutral towards Mary Kay. We have mentions in the first social media project that a dataset will be generated for other analytics. Now we will use this dataset to make a prediction on what kind of authors are more likely to make positive mentions. We click on the Mary Kay dataset. Next, we click on the Predict functionality. Give a name to the dataset and select target metrics such as sentiment. As the prediction is created, we notice the predictive spiral shows the predictive strength of three important variables: source, author post, and type, which means those three metrics have independent impacts on sentiments. By clicking on the distribution chart, the sentiment distribution across the three sources are shown clearly in the histogram. By clicking on details, we observe how those ratios change. Same as source, similar steps can be used in other variables to detect more insights. Moving on to the two-field analysis, the prediction strength is demonstrated by interactions between the two metrics. We notice that the predictive strength increases closer to the center of the predictive spiral. Clicking on the first chart, we can see how source and author posts can provide interaction impacts on sentiment. Clicking details, we can observe the visualized results of how the ratios change under each condition, and more insights will be listed here. Finally, the combination type analysis automatically builds a moderate predictive model with comprehensive results. The decision tree highlights the highest probability path towards each type of sentiment, with options to choose highest likelihood, lowest likelihood, or the full tree. The results show that the target variable named sentiment is associated with 8 variables. All the variables are sized in proportion to the predictive importance. In this case, source is the most effective one.